Hello again, everyone. It is I, the unserious guy, your beloved savior and only God. No. I decided I'd do a sort of tutorial thing in Flash, because you all said you wanted me to do one, in like animation and stuff. So, this one's just going to be a quick one today, because I feel like I should upload something. Because Awesome Guy episode 2 is coming out, but it won't be out for maybe another week. Oh no, 2 weeks, because I'm going to be away all week next week. Why the fuck do you care about that? Anyway, it's not going to be out for the next 3 weeks, maybe. That's pushing it. It's coming along. So the next thing I upload will be that. But first off, I thought I'd just do this little tutorial, starting off how to draw like a character in Flash, because you can watch this and then you'll know how to draw them, and then we can get right into the animation without having to learn how to draw. I'll try and teach you perspective. No, not perspective. I'll try and... What the fuck just happened? No, my computer's shit. I'll teach you how to draw, like... I won't teach you, I'll give you a rough idea. I would much rather recommend you look up tutorials, but I'll try and teach you how to draw a perspective. I don't know, we'll see how we go. So, first off, what I like to do, and there we go. What I think everyone should do, get a tablet. No, you don't have to get a tablet to draw, but for what I'm doing, it's probably best. We get a tablet. If you have a Wacom, they usually have little pressure sensitivity, which is like the harder you press down, the thicker the line. And that, to turn that on, you just press this little eyedrop icon on the toolbar, which I have moved over here so you can see which tools I'm using when. I've been going for 2 minutes already, that's way too much time. Alright, so we're gonna get right into business. I like to use hotkeys. B is for brush. B is for brush. V is for the selection tool. That's like the arrow, you know, that'll like, you can drag stuff on, you can highlight, then you can move those bits around, you know. G, no, wait, yeah. Wait, what the, okay, that's weird. No. K, G is fill bucket in Photoshop. K is for fill bucket. Anyway, see? K is for fill bucket. E is for rubber. Or eraser. I probably spelled that wrong. And what? Q. Q is for like resizing. So if you highlight something and you press Q, you can resize it. So we can fit that onto our nice little stage. Oh yeah, the stage. I thought I should probably tell you. To change the size of the stage to like a good resolution, because Flash starts it at some weird resolution, you just click Window, Modify, Document, and then it comes up with all this. So you can change the pixels, so it is a 16:9 ratio. Frame rate, you want to keep it at 24. Background color, I like to have it as a grey. It just seems to be nicer than staring at a white screen. And timeline, got the layers. I'm pretty sure you know how layers work. It's fairly straightforward. And there's all these other tools you can experiment with. But we'll mostly just be using these ones. Oh yeah, L is for lasso. This is really good for selecting like sort of like your own custom area instead of just going like a square, which can be handy. Alright, so I've gone weird. This is going on way too long. Who are we going to draw? We're going to draw Solid Snake, because Solid Snake is cool. So I'm probably going to do this in time lapse, but first I'll just explain how to draw faces. What I like to do for the guidelines is I like to get a thin brush like that. I know. And I sort of like to get a really light version Like maybe just slightly dark. What the fuck? Yeah, slightly darker than the stage, so you can still see it, but it's not too vibrant. All right. For faces, I like to draw. You know, we'll zoom in a bit, which is M is for magnifier. I should probably have told you that. Okay. Actually, no one. Yeah. I'll teach you how to draw faces first. What I like to do is get a circle and draw the face. No, that's what I do when I'm lazy. Like awesome guy. He's got his anime Yu-Gi-Oh hair with this, which is so big. You draw a circle and sort of like draw like a chin thing. Here's where the ear goes. Oh no, this is actually shit. Control Z is undo, but I'm pretty sure you already know that. You just sort of like draw a chin, like that thing. Have the ear here. Then this you sort of like cut the circle in half. Then where the chin and like this bit of the circle meets, that's you draw another line, and that's where like the eyes go. And for eyes, I normally just like do like a circle, and that's like it. And then you put some eyebrows in, make big bushy eyebrows, because he's a snake. Then for a mouth, you just put it down here. I like to put my mouth really low for some reason. I don't know, it just looks cool. I don't really draw noses, like when I'm just drawing like cartoons, but you can if you want. The nose usually goes on this circle line. Another good thing is to like put a line in the middle, just so you know like where the middle of the face is. And for mouths, you might see what I'm doing is I'm sort of like not finishing the mouth. This is something you'll probably typically see in like anime and stuff. But you can also just do a line, it looks pretty good. Okay, so this is Snake. So Snake has a bandana. So I'm going to draw this bandana. And it's going to have like a little thing. And then these things will be blowing in the wind. Just because that looks cool. There we go. And Snake, this is Snake from Metal Gear Solid 1. So he's got like sort of hair like that. Just sort of goes back. Maybe have a bit come. What the fuck does he look like? Does he have like a little tussle? I'll check. Oh well, you get the idea. Let's go to the. Alright, so we got our solid snake. Right, that's how you do heads. I'll show you how to do hands. We'll do that. Where the fuck is that? Oh yeah, hold space to like get the hand, and you can like move the stage around. It's really cool. Alright, we'll go over here. Hands, okay, you want to like draw the arm. Arm sort of like, this is the elbow. They sort of like go in like an angle, so towards the hand it'll be like thinner than like it will be here. And hands, the thumb, hands don't look like this. Well, yeah. You draw like the hand bit, and then the thumb bit sort of like comes out the side. And then you sort of like just draw a thumb. I don't know, you kind of have to get used to it. And then, yeah, you get the idea. Probably not. I don't know, look up a tutorial how to do it. It'll teach you a lot better than I can teach you. I'm not even that good at it myself. As you see, like, that's a bit weird. This bit's way too long. But yeah, that's just how to make them. Why the fuck am I rubbing that out? See, we can get our lasso, just select everything. And, yeah. So, let's draw a solid snake. I'll speed this up just for your viewing pleasure. Alright, we've got our solid snake here. I just sort of drew him from a reference file. It's like this action figure dude. I don't know, I just found it on Google Images. So we got our solid snake. This is just the rough sketches, and now what we do is we create a new layer and we lock this one, and we get a sort of, it's nice to get it, you get a black. I like to increase the thickness to, this is the right sort of thickness I like to draw with, but something that's good to do is zoom in, because Flash, when you have pressure sensitivity on, or just not, the lines, they sort of like, it's sort of like, because it's Flash's vector base, it sort of like smooths them out, which you can change by going in properties, which you can find in window properties. I usually just have it here anyway. You see this thing goes smoothing? If you have that on 0, Flash does not improve any mistakes. See? Look at all my human imperfections. But if we go to smoothing 100%, it just goes ballistic and smooths the shit out of it, and it looks like crap. So I usually have it around like 40. I don't know, I just find it gives me a bit more control, but like still smooths it out nice. But a good way to get around dodgy lines is to get a nice big brush so you have more control over the pressure, and zoom in. So we'll just zoom out and go to the default size, and yeah, and then we'll zoom in 200% and see which brush is about that. About this one, 200%. This is a good thickness, and we just sort of, hang on, trace snake. I'll speed this up again, but it's nice to have just go slowly, spend a lot of time smoothing your lines. Okay, so we've got our snake now, and just cover that bottom part up. Holding shift and painting will give you a like a flat line, like it's kind of like a ruler. If you hold shift, you can go up or down. Can't go diagonal, unfortunately, but maybe that'll be the only new feature in the next Flash. Okay. So zooming out, we can kind of see Snake is looking good. He's got his nice black outline. He's looking sort of more like a drawing. So what you would then do normally is color him in. But since we're doing digital, a nice thing we can do is we can color the lines. Now, to do this, you just either select him, or you can just tap on the keyframe where he's selected, the liner, and you just go to the fill bucket, and we go to this little color wheel here, and we can pick our lines. So some good line color is like a blue for him, since he's going to be like all bluish. So maybe we'll go with like a bluey line color. Or we could go red. We could go deep purple, actually. That might not look too bad. With the... Actually, yeah, maybe we should just go stick with a blue. Sort of darky, bluey. Maybe that looks pretty good. Now, to colouring him in. This, we like to use the fill bucket. So, we select our colour. We're going to colour his face in first. Skin is sort of like a reddy, you really want to stay around here. Sometimes you can go in here if it's like cold. Because cold colours are always like the bluey ones, and the warm colours are more like the orangey ones. So we'll just give him a nice sort of like skin colour. Yeah, looks good. Alright. So what I like to do now is just go over and do all the flat colours, which is sort of like just the plain colour. So just watch. I'll show you. Just watch and learn, baby. What I like to do is I like to have the whatever colour I'm colouring in sort of lighter than the actual line art, just so you can, it sort of like stands out. I'll speed this up. Alright, we got all our flat colours. So now we're on to shading. Well, now there are many methods of shading in Flash. Some people like to get the pencil tool, which is the colour will be this one. We'll get a nice red. And to draw shading, you sort of like just pick a point where the light will be coming from. Oh yeah, see how that happened? There's like a sort of box around it. That means that you've got this selected, object, drawing. Yeah, it's really annoying. Because like J is right next to K, which is the fill bucket hotkey. I often find myself like when I like fill something in, I'll accidentally press J and I'll turn this thing on. Yeah, just turn it off, because what it does is sort of like make the lines you just drew automatically turn into a symbol, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, that's what happens if that happens. Anyway, we get our pencil tool and we sort of like just pretend the sun's okay. Shading, you just pick a light source, let's say from here. That means the light will be on this side and the shadow will be on this side. So we just sort of color his hair in. Yeah, you get the idea, the top half. And then you just, let's say, we'll pick like a green just for the sake of it. And then you go like that. See, now you got the shadow on this side. And then we select the pencil by selecting all of it. And then we go back down to the color and we click this little white box with a line through it. And that gets rid of it. So now we have our shading, our neon green shading. No. Alright, picking a color for shadows. This is the tricky part. You sort of want to, you get the color. Alright, we go into this thing. And shadows usually go, depends where, like what the setting is, but usually they go more towards blue. So we want to make our shadow close towards blue. So more down here, and of course we make it darker. So now we've got the right color. Now how I do shading is I go down to this little thing right above the brush called brush mode. Now if you hold and click that in, you get all these different ones, and they all do different cool things. Like paint behind will always paint behind everything, and paint inside will only paint inside a certain color, or like that block of color. So what I like to do is I like to make my shading, and then we press K, and whoop, yeah, that happens. I don't know why. You just sort of like add to the ends until, there we go, all one color. So now you know how to shade. I'll speed this up, and we'll see how we go. Okay, we have our snake and he's all nice and shaded. Now, an additional thing you can do, but if you're animating I really wouldn't recommend this because it takes forever. You can do highlights. So you get the flat color and you just sort of make it lighter. You can also make it more saturated by moving it up here. And then you just go along the edge of the color and you give it a highlight. It's also a really cool effect to like highlight in the shadow as well. I don't know, just has a really cool effect, and it'll look really cool especially if there's like a really close light or a light behind him. It's good for like shining in the back. But yeah, so here's our solid snake. We'll just get our selection tool and like trim off the end here so it's nice and good, and we can get rid of our sketch layer because we're done with that, and we have our solid snake. And we'll just give him a quick background by making another layer behind. He's using a lot of blue, so maybe like a orangey background to look nice by getting the square tool. Yeah, that looks cool. Sort of trim it off a bit. And just to make the background a little more interesting, we can get a more saturated, brighter color in the middle. Just maybe draw like a circle. And one more thing we can do to just make Solid Snake pop out a bit more from his background. Highlight everything. Control C. Okay, we'll make a new layer above our background but behind Snake. Copy him so we have two. Then while he's selected, go over to the fill bucket and make him white. So now we have just a completely white Solid Snake. Now if you go over to here to the fill bucket and hold that down, you'll get this ink bottle, which is kind of like if you paint something, it'll just give it like an outline. So we'll want to make the ink bottle pretty thick, and we'll make the ink bottle white. So, yeah. And now we fill him. And now he's got sort of like that edge around him. We just get him here, and we drag him over here, and voila, instant white outline. I'm not sure if there's like a proper name for it. There probably is, but I don't know it. And we can just get rid of our white here. That might be obstructing the beautiful background. Sort of fill that in with some paint. And here we go, we got our Solid Snake. And just one final touch. What we can do is we can lock all these layers and add a new layer, and we go here to color, which if it's not here should be into window color. There it is. And we want to go fill bucket selected, and we want to go radial, and this creates gradients. Now, as you see here, we've got like sort of a circle gradient. So we'll go in the middle, and we'll make sort of like a yellow. Make it sort of like a bright yellow in the middle, sort of like a white. Actually, yeah, we will want white. Just make it like really light. And for this one, we'll get like a black, sort of like a yellowy orange. Make that really bright too. And here we go, alpha. Alpha is basically just the opacity, which is how transparent it is. So we'll make the very outside of the gradient completely 0, and on the inside we'll make that about 30, 35. And we grab our little selection tool and we go over to the circle and make sure there's no pencil line layer. And holding now we can make shapes. Now if you hold shift, it just creates a perfect circle or a perfect square. What we're going to do is we're going to drag that there. And we've got a little lighting sort of hitting him. And another thing you can do is go back to our color, get our radial out, is you can make sort of like a vignette, I think it's called. Oh no, we'll just get sort of like a purpley color on both sides. You can make it the same color, so they're both completely fully transparent. Make this one a little bit darker, and we'll just make this one about 40, and we'll make this one about 0, and then we get our square tool and we draw a square around him, and he's got that sort of like shadow around the outside. Anyway, these are like tones. You only use them like on one layer when you finished your animation, and you wouldn't really use this white outline all the time. But yeah, we've got this is how to draw a drawing in Adobe Flash. So next time it'll be an animation tutorial, like using all these keyframes to make something move and look cool. But this is the basics of how to make like a drawing in Flash. So you know how to draw now. Hop to it, start practicing, and join me next time when we start animating. See ya!